Have you ever had one of those days where your Parkinson's symptoms feel like they're calling all the shots? Maybe your medication isn't working like it should, or you're struggling with movements that used to feel effortless. It's frustrating, I know. And what's even more frustrating is when we unknowingly make choices that can actually make those symptoms worse. That's why today, we're talking about the 5 dangerous mistakes that can worsen Parkinson's symptoms. And most importantly, how to avoid them. Whether you've just been diagnosed or have been navigating this journey for years, these are things you'll want to hear. Because sometimes small adjustments can make a big difference in how you feel day to day. Now, the first mistake is one that's easy to fall into, especially when fatigue or stiffness sets in, and that's skipping physical activity. It's understandable. When moving feels harder, the last thing you might want to do is exercise. But here's the thing. Staying still can actually speed up muscle loss, reduce flexibility, and even make tremors and rigidity worse. Research shows that regular movement, whether it's walking, stretching, or even seated exercises, helps your brain produce dopamine more efficiently and keeps your body stronger for longer. So what can you do? Start small. If a 30-minute walk feels overwhelming, try 5 minutes. If balance is a concern, try chair yoga or water aerobics. The key is consistency, not intensity. And if you're not sure where to begin, ask your doctor or physical therapist for exercises tailored to your needs. The second mistake is ignoring sleep problems. Parkinson's can already disrupt sleep with stiffness, restless legs, or vivid dreams. But poor sleep doesn't just leave you tired, it can actually worsen motor symptoms and cognitive function. Think of sleep as your brain's reset button. Without it, everything feels harder. So how do you break the cycle? First, set a routine. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Make your bedroom as comfortable as possible. Cool, dark, and quiet. If you're struggling with nighttime stiffness, a warm bath or gentle stretching before bed might help. And if sleep still feels out of reach, talk to your doctor. Sometimes, adjusting medication timing or addressing an underlying issue like sleep apnea can make a world of difference. Now, let's talk about the third mistake, not paying attention to your diet. What you eat plays a huge role in how your body manages Parkinson's. For example, protein can interfere with how your body absorbs levodopa, making your medication less effective when taken too close to meals. On the other hand, not getting enough fiber can lead to constipation, which is already a common issue with Parkinson's. So what's the fix? Try spacing out protein-heavy meals from your medication by about an hour. Load up on fruits, vegetables, and whole grains to keep digestion moving smoothly. And don't forget hydration. Dehydration can make fatigue and muscle cramps worse. Small tweaks like these can help your body work with you, not against you. Now, I know we've covered a lot already, but these are changes you can start making today. And remember, this isn't about being perfect, it's about progress. Every little adjustment adds up. So let's keep going, because the next 2 mistakes might surprise you. You know, sometimes the things that seem harmless or even helpful can actually be working against us when it comes to Parkinson's. That's why the next 2 mistakes we're going to talk about are so important. These are the kind of things you might not even realize are affecting your symptoms until you take a step back and see the bigger picture. Let's start with the 4th mistake, overlooking stress and emotional health. Now, I get it. Stress is a part of life. But here's the problem. Stress doesn't just weigh on your mind. It can actually amplify Parkinson's symptoms. Anxiety and tension can make tremors worse, tighten already rigid muscles, and even throw off your balance. And when you're constantly stressed, it's harder for your body to recover, which can create a vicious cycle. So what can you do about it? First, recognize the signs. Are you holding your breath without realizing it? Are your shoulders tense? Those little signals are your body telling you it's time to slow down. Deep breathing exercises, meditation, or even just taking a few minutes to listen to calming music can help reset your nervous system. And don't underestimate the power of community. Whether it's a support group, a close friend, or even an online forum, talking about what you're going through can relieve so much of that internal pressure. Now, the 5th mistake is one that surprises a lot of people. Not advocating for yourself with your medical team. Parkinson's is different for everyone, and what works for one person might not work for you. But if you don't speak up about your symptoms, your side effects, or even your concerns about treatment, your doctors won't know how to adjust your care. Maybe your medication wears off too quickly, or maybe you're experiencing new symptoms that weren't there before. Those details matter. So, how do you become your own best advocate? Keep a symptom journal. Even just a few notes on your phone about how you're feeling each day can help you and your doctor spot patterns. Write down your questions before appointments so you don't forget them. And if something doesn't feel right, say so. You deserve a treatment plan that works for your life, not just a standard approach. Now, I know some of this might feel overwhelming, but here's the good news. Just being aware of these mistakes means you're already ahead of the game. And the best part? You don't have to tackle everything at once. Small, consistent changes really do add up. So let's keep going, because the next point might be the most important one yet. You've made it this far, and that tells me something important. You're someone who's willing to do what it takes to feel your best, even when Parkinson's tries to throw obstacles in your way. That's the kind of mindset that makes all the difference. Now, let's talk about the final mistake, and this one is so subtle that most people don't even realize they're making it. The last dangerous mistake? Isolating yourself. Parkinson's can sometimes feel like a lonely journey. Maybe you've pulled back from social activities because you're self-conscious about symptoms, or perhaps you don't want to burden others. But here's the truth. Connection isn't just good for your mood, it's good for your brain. Studies show that staying socially engaged can actually help slow cognitive decline and improve overall well-being. When you isolate yourself, you're not just missing out on companionship, you're missing out on a powerful form of therapy. So how do you stay connected, even when it feels hard? Start small. If big gatherings feel overwhelming, meet one friend for coffee. If leaving the house is tough, join an online support group. There are amazing communities full of people who truly understand what you're going through. And don't be afraid to let loved ones in. You might be surprised how willing people are to help if you just give them the chance. Now, let's take a moment to bring everything together. We've talked about how skipping movement, ignoring sleep, neglecting your diet, overlooking stress, not advocating for yourself, and isolating can all quietly make Parkinson's symptoms worse. But here's what I want you to remember. You have more control than you think. Every positive choice you make, whether it's taking a short walk, prioritizing rest, or reaching out to someone, is a step toward feeling stronger and more in charge of your life. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one small change you're going to focus on this week? Maybe it's trying a new stretching routine or calling an old friend. Your experiences matter, and they might just inspire someone else who's watching. If this video helped you, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does make a difference. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more tips on living well with Parkinson's. Remember, this journey isn't about being perfect, it's about progress. Every day, you're proving that Parkinson's doesn't define you. Here's to your strength, your courage, and the small victories that add up to big changes. Keep going. You've got this. You know, when we first started talking about these dangerous mistakes, I bet some of them surprised you. Maybe you recognized yourself in a few. I know I did when I was first learning about Parkinson's management. But here's what's truly remarkable. Now that you're aware of these pitfalls, you've already taken the most important step toward avoiding them. Let's go a bit deeper today, beyond just avoiding mistakes, and into how we can build sustainable habits that support your well-being. Because what good is knowing what not to do if we don't replace those behaviors with something better? Take physical activity, for instance. We talked about how skipping movement can worsen symptoms, but let's flip that around. When you find an activity you genuinely enjoy, whether it's gentle Tai Chi, swimming, or even dancing in your living room, it stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like a gift you give yourself. The key is to experiment until you find what brings you joy. One of my viewers, Margaret, told me she rediscovered her love for gardening after her diagnosis. Now she calls it her therapy with dirt. And about sleep. Yes, establishing good habits is crucial. But have you considered how your daytime routine affects your nights? Something as simple as getting morning sunlight can help regulate your circadian rhythm. Or try this. About an hour before bed, dim the lights and do some slow, mindful breathing. It's not just about being in bed at the right time, it's about preparing your whole nervous system for rest. Nutrition is another area where small, sustainable changes make all the difference. Instead of thinking about restrictions, focus on additions. Can you add one extra vegetable to your lunch? Swap out one processed snack for some nuts or fruit? These tiny wins add up without feeling overwhelming. Remember, perfection isn't the goal. Consistency is. Now let's talk about something we haven't covered yet, the power of celebration. When you make one of these positive changes, no matter how small, take a moment to acknowledge it. Did you do your exercises today? That's worth celebrating. Managed to get to bed on time? Give yourself credit. These moments of recognition reinforce the good habits and make them stick. I want you to think about this. A year from now, you'll be somewhere. Where that is depends greatly on the small choices you make today. Not the grand gestures, but the daily decisions to move a little, rest well, nourish your body, and connect with others. Parkinson's may be part of your story, but it doesn't get to write the whole book. So here's my challenge for you this week. Pick just one area. We've talked about movement, sleep, nutrition, stress management, advocacy, or connection, and find one tiny way to make it slightly better. Then come back and tell us about it in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Remember to like this video if you found it helpful and subscribe for more content like this. But more importantly, remember this: you are so much more than your diagnosis. Every day you choose to show up for yourself, you're winning. Keep going, my friend. The best is yet to come. Let me know if you'd like this formatted into a printable guide, video script, or anything else.